OMGPOP has now pulled even with Captain Price. They have reigned for an equal amount of time.
We have more conscripts at our disposal.
If OMGPOP defeats this challenger, his 8th challenger, OMGPOP will pull into the lead and have the longest reign of Star-Crossed Kings. That being said, his 8th challenger, currently using the Steam alias Naria, is more commonly known as Paradox, who is an extremely prolific Company of Heroes player with over 3,000 1v1 auto matches to his name as all 4 factions. Should be able to give OMGPOP a very good run for his money. A very experienced player, and the map we have here is Minsk Pocket. Not very common to see this map used in tournaments. I have included this map as well as Stalingrad into this tournament because of its slightly less competitive King of the Hill format. I thought it would be fun to include some lesser seen maps to see how they play at the highest competitive level, and mostly also because these maps are in auto match, and I like for the Star-Crossed tournaments to represent auto match as accurately as possible to really show everybody what's happening, even at the highest levels of play in auto match, those ladder games, those high-level ladder games. And this is what we're going to see. We're going to see conscripts, 3 conscripts opening from Paradox, making their way across the left side. These conscripts making their way towards the munitions on the right. Pop has, of course, chosen mechanized assault right out of the gate. No hesitation, no desire to use anything else. He's going to be fielding those Stug E's. Paradox knows that. Everybody has been watching the tournament. Everybody knows exactly what Pop's going to do. They need to capitalize on that knowledge, that foreign knowledge of exactly what their opponent's going to do and try and defeat that. Because that is a huge advantage, or at least it should be in a strategy game, to know on the loading screen exactly what your opponent's going to do.
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
Needs to build to counter that. 4 conscript opening now. Combat Engineers doing a little dodging and dancing over here away from Grenadiers. Conscripts want to close the distance. Grenadiers caught without really that much cover. If they can get to a green cover position over here, might be able to bleed the advance. These 2 squads have grouped up to chase away that Grenadier squad. Should win that. Conscript squads over here going to win this engagement as well, easily, against those Pios. 2 squads of Grenadiers over here, however, will win an engagement against these cons. Looks like Paradox gave up the chase a little bit. He's going to let Pop take control of this victory point in exchange for taking control of the munitions. Probably a good trade for him. Munitions more important than victory points this early in the game. These conscripts need to continue kiting those Grenadiers, though. This is going to be a tough engagement. These 2 squads have full health. These are both wounded. Not entirely sure how it's going to go. Conscripts move up to apply some pressure to these Grenadiers, trying to take back control of this victory point. This side of the house has only 1 window, but both of these Grenadiers here are still firing diagonally. He has to keep moving north. Grenadiers have split up a little bit. MG42 has been fielded. Conscripts will be forced to retreat easily right there. And it looks like enough conscripts have died here that these Grenadiers will actually win this engagement. No Molotov research. Oh, there it is. Tossing it now. He'll retreat anyway. Grenadiers take 1 crit. Will secure control of this victory point. As for the center of the map in this area, Combat Engineers have taken most of the map. Great munitions control here by Paradox here at the beginning of the game. As far as manpower engagement's not really going in his favor. He's been forced to retreat twice now from 2 different locations. Mines going down from Combat Engineers there. Conscripts trying to harass this victory point. A fresh squad of conscripts making its way towards the strategic point here.
Your predecessor died a hero!
Comrades. The point is ours. Get down! Grenade! We are bleeding, comrade!
Conscripts toss a Molotov, is dodged, they'll be forced to retreat. These conscripts have taken control of the victory point there. Combat Engineers actually decap the fuel briefly. So far, map control mostly going in the Soviets' favor because Pop wants to keep most of his units together and try and win engagements, secure himself an early manpower advantage, which is important as Ulster, but munitions control probably equally important, so he's trying to focus his efforts here on this munitions point and on this fuel point. Not worrying too much about the harassment here behind his lines. He'll send something to deal with that later. He's also doing some pretty good harassment with this two-man Grenadier squad since they're unopposed. Even though they're wounded, they can get a lot of work done over here on the left, decapping the VP, capturing these two strategic points, working on harassing this munitions, but of course he's still cut off thanks to the strategic point right there. Scout cars hitting the field now from Pop, probably going to go with the second one. I don't know if he modifies his build particularly against Soviets or US forces. Memory doesn't quite serve. I don't know if he's planning on getting a second one of those or going straight into his half-track med bunker build. Grenadiers taking control of the center VP.
Our supply lines. Our opponents are seizing a sector. Capture complete.
222 trying to shut down harassment over here. He wants to keep the capture going. Doesn't want to take too much manpower bleed though. That squad just got suppressed. Grenadiers moving up to force the retreat. Probably not going to be able to get that captured. They're going to get into the capture circle. Capture is halted. Meanwhile, over here on the right side, strategic point has fallen. Grenade gets tossed. Molotov on those Grenadiers. They'll simply dodge it. No big deal. He will be forced to retreat. Meanwhile, over here on the left side, conscripts moving to get some territory back under control. Look how much harassment. And that one Grenadier squad. Meanwhile, the mine he planted down here does get avoided thanks to those Pios. Just didn't step on it, I guess. No minesweeper upgrade yet, though. Half-track making its way up the right side. Ooh, that's a full squad wiped. First squad wipe of the game on that squad, which stuck around a little too long under autocannon fire, had a little too much dangerous stuff in its retreat path. Did throw the AT grenade to prevent the 222 from chasing, but it didn't matter with the MG42 half-track and Grenadiers and stuff back here. Full squad goes down. Victory points fall back into Paradox's control here in the top left. A couple squads making their way to get strategic points back under control, and OMGPOP is starting to get a lot of victory or territory back under his control here. May send a squad to go get these territories back, but he never seems to do that much back capping. Apparently he's going to do it this game though. Doesn't want to leave those in enemy hands for too long. Not going to get too aggressive too quickly. Needs a little time to repair, regroup, and reinforce here by his half-track anyway. May see a medic bunker going up somewhere in the center of the map soon. That generally seems to be his next step. I don't think he even builds one in his base. He just puts that medic bunker in the middle of the map and tries never to let his forward defensive position fall. Which is why his strategy is so aggressive and so dangerous, but it works very well when he has secured early manpower leads, which he always seems to do. Always gets that early squad wipe, always wins engagements, forces retreats. And just look at the size of the infantry armies. 5 Grenadiers, Pios, MG42, plus 2 light vehicles. He's got tier 2. It's going to be some time before he can get an AT gun on the field, though. And we're going to see Soviet fuel get harassed now. M3 with guards inside is going to do some harassment of an MG42 over here on the right. That's going to be forced to retreat. Conscripts snipe the gunner. M3 is going to continue kiting those Grenadiers. Can't quite get in range for a Panzerfaust. One burst does manage to suppress those conscripts, though, and with 222 support, those conscripts will be forced to retreat easily enough. Meanwhile, over here, we have harassment of various territories. Grenade, or Molotov gets tossed there, will be dodged. Guards moving up to do a little bit of supporting of their own, but Paradox really needs to get fuel control back here. Grenadiers available with LMGs, screen away those conscripts. Nice fuel harassment behind enemy lines, but I think that squad's probably going to get wiped. It's going to have to retreat through a lot with very little health. Throws the AT grenade to prevent chasing. I don't think it's gonna get away. I don't even think it would have gotten away if there wasn't this giant infantry army here. Half-track, Grenadiers, everything. Hugely dangerous retreat path. Meanwhile, this wounded Grenadier squad has a very safe retreat path. We'll be able to get away just fine. Guards moving up to harass the right side, trying to secure munitions control, and fuel control seems to be the name of the game here for OMGPOP. Doesn't seem to care about munitions that much. He has enough strategic points, though, that his munitions income's still pretty good. 31 coming in, so he's got 3 LMGs. And the 222 upgrade, pretty much where all of his munitions have gone. Soviet player spending most of his munitions on anti-tank grenades, flamethrower, a few mines. One mine gets detonated over here, makes no real difference. Hasn't got anything available to follow up in the area.
We are losing a sector.
Pop still holds onto this fuel, and there it is. There's the aggressive medic station. Guards moving up to try and harass. They drive right into a 222. Taking a lot of damage on that M3. Faust seals the deal. Bit of an overextension by that M3 right there. Harassment continues down the right side, but this push in the center does not look like there's any chance of it succeeding. If that half-track is not destroyed, there's not going to be any breaking this defensive position. He does manage to convince Pop to stop building that bunker ever so briefly, and while the machine gun's reloading, will not be able to suppress these conscripts moving up on the flank, but that's a full retreat. Everything retreating. Couldn't make this push work. 4 squads of grenadiers here. The Bet 222, the half-track for reinforcements. Not even close to losing this engagement without some way of destroying that half-track. With 2 squads of guards fielded, he has a little bit of anti-light vehicle and those PTRSs. And the PTRS did get buffed this patch. It's actually supposedly pretty good against infantry too now because it has higher accuracy when it hits. But since half of his guards' firepower is tied up just in map harassment, he can't bring that to bear here in the center. He needs to be careful, needs to think carefully about how to engage. It looks like he's probably going to make it to T-3485s this game. Victory point situation not too dire. Probably going to be able to get those out given his current income, given the current CP situation. Just needs to keep pushing, keep being aggressive, try and win engagements, try not to lose too much during engagements as far as manpower. If he floats up enough for a heavy mortar, he might be able to equalize the manpower game a little bit. He'll be able to bombard this position with a heavy mortar easily, very safely from a position behind a tree line or something like that. Here comes a big push again. Conscripts will have to retreat almost immediately. Very little bleed being inflicted on any grenadiers. Since a medic bunker is only just now completing, they have not been able to heal yet. This is probably Paradox's biggest opportunity to inflict any real manpower bleed on his opponent. Kind of threatens taking a lot himself, though, at this long range against that many massed LMGs. And he's just going to disengage. He just doesn't like the engagement. But with this medic bunker constructed, it's only going to get worse from here. It's really just going to get worse. And we're actually going to see a Soviet sniper deployed. A sniper instead of a heavy mortar. Not sure what I think about that decision. A heavy mortar would be a lot safer. And against this, really effective.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
DP machine guns and PTRSs on a guard squad should make it a pretty scary anti-infantry force, but not as scary as a blob of grenadiers this big. Lots of backcapping, well, not backcapping, but capping happening over here on the left side from these non-upgraded grenadiers, just utilizing them to get that territory under control, start the clock ticking against Paradox here. And there's the Stug E on the field. There's not really a counter to that on the field from Paradox this game, since he went tier 1, can't even make field guns. He's gonna get bullied by that thing hard, and if it manages to snipe his sniper, snipe any full squads, gonna be in a pretty rough situation. This flanking squad of guards got pinned because the map has kind of got a little asymmetry where you cannot flank the south side, but you can flank the north, which is dumb. And the patch notes said they tweaked this map, by the way, but I certainly haven't seen any changes. It looks exactly the same to me. Maybe they changed some tree placement around or something. I don't really know. Oh, they just moved the that's what happened. They moved that strategic point to make it easier for tanks to pass through that area. So that's a good change. It's a good change, but it would have been nice if they fixed some of the asymmetry issues.
We are in the shit now.
troops
There
have been
goes
lost.
full squad right there.
We are awaiting orders.
This really actually is a very good change. I definitely like that. Wait, can you path across this? I think you might be able to path across this. Interesting. So they really tweaked this area quite a lot, actually. If you can path across that, I haven't noticed, haven't tested that myself. I can't tell if you can walk across that or not. Looks like you might be able to.
Pioneers awaiting orders.
Also, what doth life? They do not appear to give yellow cover.
We
These two
are
trees.
losing
I'm
the
pretty sure those
sector.
trees were knocked over by some tank rolling over them or something. Stug. Paradox getting pretty locked into his base here. Stuggy's second one is on the field now. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to break this containment. If he keeps bleeding manpower, he's never going to be able to afford T-3485s. And if he stops engaging, he's never going to get to 10 command points, so he's in a really bad situation. Really bad. Here comes the cutoff maneuver by those grenadiers. Heavy mortar trying to equalize the manpower game a little bit. Sniper cannot expose itself to those stugs, though. Machine gun simply repositioned to a more aggressive location to avoid mortar fire. Engagement over here.
Light artillery barrage ready to launch.
Molotov will get dodged easily enough, and a squad. Finally, look how long Pop waited to do this backcapping. He cares so much more about aggressive cutoffs than he does about backcapping. That is 17 minutes in the game, and it only just now is he sending a squad of grenadiers. He feels that he has an aggressive enough containment going that he can actually dedicate these squads to getting the map back under control here in the south.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
We ripped up an enemy squad.
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
1.5 command points to go before he can afford T-3485s. Once they arrive, he'll have to orchestrate a miraculous comeback, which will not be easy. He's losing his forces so quickly. There's a squad wiped right there. Possibility of a squad wipe right there. Almost all of his CP gains are his losses. He's inflicted barely any damage on his opponent at all. Sniper takes a hit from the Stug. And it gets wiped as well.
Squad of infantry has been killed.
Just horrible, horrible losses everywhere. I don't even know if that sniper had one kill. There goes the flamethrower squad. Down to just 2 squads of guards.
We are losing
Conscripts and his heavy
enemy.
mortar. Heavy mortar doesn't even have a kill yet either. Stug's about to move up to fire on that. Quarter command point till T-3485s though, which may not even matter that much. OMGPOP's going to have the resources for a Tiger and the command points for one very soon.
Infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice.
OMGPOP now holds every sector on the map. Still doesn't quite have the command points for T-34s. And no mechanism with which to get them other than just continuing to take losses.
We can be promoted.
T-34-85 tanks are now ready for use. Use them to crush the Huns. Enemy infantry.
We will not forget his sacrifice.
He died like a hero. 300 points stand between us and defeat.
Well, he's at 10 command points now. OMGPOP half a command point away from a Tiger. He's actually so pop capped on grenadiers and everything else that he won't even be able to field one. Won't even be able to field one until he takes some losses. Triple Cap's going to keep going on his opponent for quite some time. There's the T-34s. Going in on the Stug. Pitches vet 2. No AT gun, or no, one AT gun available right here, making its way to the front line. T-34 takes a Panzerfaust right there. PTRS on the flank of that Stugi, threatens to destroy it. MG-42 screening against those guards. T-34 is missing most of their shots. AT guns trying to get in position on the damage. T-34s can't make anything happen yet. Heavy mortar bombarding the machine gun has not yet landed a good shot. AT gun firing on the T-34s there, bringing it quite low. Has to pull back. There are no combat engineer squads on the field for repairs. Repairs are going to take a long time. T-34s and heavy mortar may be able to clear out this machine gun. OMGPOP not even moving it, might even just be willing to let it go down so that he can try and get a Tiger on the field. There it goes, frees up just enough pop cap for a Tiger. And there it is. Hits the field with that, bringing him up to 98 of 100 pop cap. With this Tiger, he should quite easily be able to seal the game. It's going to take forever to get these things repaired. They're going to utilize self-repair to try and speed things up. He has no munitions coming in. He's not going to be able to do that sustainably. Pretty much absolutely needs to get some combat engineers on the field.
Only 200 points remain. Double your efforts.
Not queuing up any combat engineers, interestingly enough. I don't know what he's saving his manpower for. I don't know what he thinks he needs more than repairs, other than to surrender, I guess. That's the game. He cannot come back from this situation. No territory at all. That aggressive containment strategy by OMGPOP, even on a map as big as Minsk Pocket, he still manages to set up a forward line. Look at this. Look at this. Just look at it. It's so hard to break through. After a certain point, if you let OMGPOP set up his fortress over here with the half-track, the medic bunker, the Stugs, very difficult to deal with. Good game. Short break and we'll go into game 2.